Azerbaijan is an overwhelmingly Muslim country. Estimates include 91.6%, 93.4%, 99.2% of the population identifying as Muslim. Most are adherents of Shia branch, with the minority being Sunni Muslim. Differences traditionally have not been defined sharply. Most Shia are adherents of Orthodox Ithna Ashari school of Shi'a Islam. Following many decades of Soviet atheist policy, religious affiliation is nominal in Azerbaijan, and Muslim identity tends to be based more on culture and ethnicity than religion. Traditionally, villages around Baku and Lenkoran region are considered stronghold of Shi'ism. In some northern regions populated by Dagestani people, Sunni Islam is dominant. Folk Islam is widely practiced, but there is little evidence of an organized Sufi movement. The rest of the population adheres to other faiths or are non-religious, although they are not officially represented. Other traditional religions are beliefs that are followed by many in the country of the Armenian Apostolic Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, and various other Christian denominations. Azerbaijan is a secular state. Article 48 of its constitution ensures the liberty of worship, to choose any faith, or to not practice any religion, and to express one's view on the religion. The law of the Republic of Azerbaijan on freedom of faith ensures the right of any human being to determine and express his view on religion and to execute this right. However, a 1996 law states that foreigners have freedom of conscience, but are denied the right to carry out religious propaganda, i.e., to preach, under the threat of fines or deportation. According to paragraphs 1 to 3 of Article 18 of the Constitution, the religion acts separately from the government. Each religion is equal before the law, and the propaganda of religions, abating human personality and contradicting to the principles of humanism, is prohibited. At the same time, the state system of education is also secular. Lahaye Faith. The Baha'i faith in Azerbaijan crosses a complex history of regional changes. Before 1850, followers of the predecessor religion Babism were established in Nakhchivan. By the early 20th century, the Baha'i community, now centered in Baku, numbered perhaps 2,000 individuals, and several Baha'i local spiritual assemblies had facilitated the favorable attention of local and regional and international leaders of thought, as well as long-standing leading figures in the religion. However, under Soviet rule, the Baha'i community was almost ended, though it was immediately reactivated as perestroika loosened controls on religions, and re-elected its own National Spiritual Assembly in 1992. The modern Baha'i population of Azerbaijan, centered in Baku, may have regained its peak from the oppression of the Soviet period of about 2,000 people. Today, with more than 80% converts, although the community in Nakhchivan, where it all began, is still seriously harassed and oppressed. Christianity is represented by Orthodoxy, Catholicism and Protestantism, as well as a number of minority communities in Azerbaijan. Christians, who estimated between 280,000 and 450,000, are mostly Russian and Georgian Orthodox and Armenian Apostolic. There is also a small ethnic Azerbaijani Protestant community, numbering around 5,000, mostly from Muslim backgrounds. Orthodox Church. Orthodoxy is currently represented in Azerbaijan by the Russian and Georgian Orthodox churches. The Russian Orthodox churches are grouped in the Eparchy of Baku and the Caspian region. Azerbaijan also has 11 Molokan communities related to the old rituals of Orthodoxy. These communities do not have any church. The dogmas are fixed in a special book of rituals. They oppose the church hierarchy, which has a special power. Armenian Apostolic Church. The Armenian Apostolic Church currently has no community outside the breakaway Nagorno-Karabakh Republic. Before the outbreak of the war, Armenians formed the largest Christian population. The Armenian churches in Azerbaijan remain closed because of the large out-migration of Armenians and fear of Azerbaijani attacks. During the Nagorno-Karabakh War, despite the constitutional guarantees against religious discrimination, numerous acts of vandalism against the Armenian Apostolic Church have been reported throughout Azerbaijan. At the height of atrocities against the Armenian minorities in Baku in 1990, the Armenian Church of St. Gregory Illuminator in Baku was set on fire, but was restored in 2004 and is not used anymore. The Church of St. Gregory Illuminator is the only remaining Armenian church in Baku. All other Armenian churches were demolished in the 1990s. Albanian Od Church. Approximately 6,000 of the 10,000 people of the Udi ethnic community live in Azerbaijan, including 4,400 people residing in Nij village, Kabala district. The Udis who resided on the territory of the Caspian Sea shore later accepted Christianity and spread this religion in the Caucasus, Albania. The Church of Kish is one of the major examples of this cultural heritage. Roman Catholicism. There is a tiny Roman Catholic community in Baku and surroundings, with less than 1,000 members. The Vatican Foreign Minister Giovanni Lagello visited Baku May 19, 2006. During the visit to last till May 25, he met with President Ilham Aliyev and chairman of the Caucasus Clerical Office, Sheikh Hukur Pashizadeh, to discuss ties between Azerbaijan and the Vatican. Giovanni Lagello made the following statements: "We are satisfied with the level of friendly communications between Azerbaijan and Vatican. Azerbaijan really is a place of merge of religions and cultures. We highly estimate tolerance existing here, and we are very glad with intensive development of Azerbaijan. Vatican is interested in expansion of relations with Azerbaijan, and the purpose of my visit to Baku consists in carrying out of exchange by opinions on the further development of our ties." Baku's Catholic Church was demolished in the Stalin era, but a new one, started in September 2005, was opened in summer 2007. Hinduism. Hinduism in Azerbaijan has been tied to cultural diffusion on the Silk Road. In the Middle Ages, Hindu traders visited present-day Azerbaijan for Silk Road trade. The area was traversed by Hindu traders coming mostly from Multan and Sind. The Hindus also have the Fire Temple of Baku. Today there are over 500 to 600 Hindus in Azerbaijan. Islam. Until recently, Islam in Azerbaijan was relatively low-key, although the vast majority of Azerbaijanis identified themselves as Muslims. Surveys in the late Soviet and early post-Soviet era generally found that less than a quarter of those who considered themselves Muslims had even a basic understanding of the pillars of Islam, according to researchers Emil Solimanov and Meir Emin. According to a survey conducted in 2000, fewer than 7% of respondents considered themselves firm believers, while just 18% confessed observance of Salat. Thus, for many Azerbaijanis, Islam tended toward a more ethnic nationalistic identity than a purely religious one. An estimated 4/5 of Muslims in Azerbaijan are Shias of the 12 branch. The remainder are Sunnis belonging to the Hanafi branch and inhabit primarily the northern and western areas of the republic. Folk Islam is widely practiced, but there is little evidence of an organized Sufi movement. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, all religious organizations fell into depression and split into pieces, while the religious organization of Transcaucasia Muslims headed by Akind Hukur Pashizadeh elected the Sheikh al-Islam in 1980 intensified its operation and tried to spread its influence to the entire Caucasus under the name of the Caucasus Muslims Department. The measures to implement these attempts were undertaken at the 10th session of the Caucasus Muslims held in Baku in 1998. The opening of CMD representations in Georgia and Dagestan was one of the significant steps in this field. The chair of CMD ensures the consequent contacts with Islamic organizations and manages to establish close religious relations with neighbor Muslim countries. To date, CMD fulfills the religious needs of the Islamic communities of Azerbaijan, oversees the proper fulfillment of the rituals, progresses in training religious workers through the Islamic University of Baku, founded in 1991, and is responsible for all religious events occurring in the country. The Faculty of Theology of the State University of Baku has been training Islam and theology scientists since 1992. Through the years of independence, the worshipping of holies strengthened in Azerbaijan, and the new holy places were set up along with old ones. Bakuism created its own assembly and expanded yearly. The relations of the state religion are regulated by the State Committee for the Work with Religious Associations of Azerbaijan, established by the decree of President Heydar Aliyev in 2001. More recently, some Azerbaijani youths have been drawn increasingly to Islam. Additionally, some young women in Azerbaijan have decided to dress in Islamic attire despite the risks associated, including being rebuked by university personnel for wearing the hijab. Judaism. There are three separate communities of Jews in Azerbaijan, who total almost 16,000 combined. Of them, 11,000 are mountain Jews, with concentrations of 6,000 in Baku and 4,000 in Guba. 4,300 are Ashkenazi Jews, most of whom live in Baku and Sumqayit, and 700 are Georgian Jews. There are 3 synagogues in Baku and a few in the provinces. Sheikh al-Islam al-Azhukur Pashazad has donated $40,000 for construction of Jewish house in Baku in 2000. Older religions. Very little is known about pre-Christian and pre-Islam Azerbaijani mythology. Sources are mostly Hellenic historians like Strabo and based on archaeological evidence. Strabo names the gods of the sun, the sky, and above all, the moon. Zoroastrianism. The history of Zoroastrianism in Azerbaijan goes back to the 1st millennium BC. Together with the other territories of the Persian Empire, Azerbaijan remained a predominantly Zoroastrian state until the Arab invasion in the 7th century. The name Azerbaijan means the land of the eternal fire in Middle Persian, a name that is said to have a direct link with Zoroastrianism. Today, the religion, culture, and traditions of Zoroastrianism remains highly respected in Azerbaijan, and Nowruz continues to be the main holiday in the country. Zoroastrianism has left a deep mark in the history of Azerbaijan. Traces of the religion are still visible in Ramana, Kinalig, and Yanadag, and there are 2,000 Zoroastrians left in the country. Freedom of religion. The Constitution of Azerbaijan provides for freedom of religion, and the law does not allow religious activities to be interfered with unless they endanger public order. Cases of anti-Semitism in Azerbaijan are rare. The 2004 U.S. Department of State report on human rights in Azerbaijan noted some instances in which freedom of religion was violated, such as interference with the Juma mosque due to the political activism of its imam. All religious organizations are required to register with the government, and groups such as Baptists, Jehovah's Witnesses, and members of the Assemblies of God continue to be denied religious registration. The official website of Jehovah's Witnesses has documented a number of acts of religious intolerance being committed by the Azerbaijan government against members of Jehovah's Witnesses. As a result of the Nagorno-Karabakh war, mosques in the Nagorno-Karabakh region have been abandoned or destroyed, and Armenian churches in Azerbaijan have likewise been inactive or damaged in the fighting. The position of the governmental authorities towards Islam is controversial. Men who grow beards more than normal are often viewed with suspicion by the authorities for fear of the propagation of Wahhabism. Despite the government's denial of the matter, the Azerbaijani police drew criticism from lawyers for infringing the rights of observant Muslims. However, the 2009 religion law requires the compulsory re-registration of all religious groups. The overwhelming majority of religious groups that have been granted re-registration are Muslim. Hundreds of others are still waiting to hear from the authorities.